Hello and welcome back to another edition of CommLink Reacts. I'm Stubb, and I'm joined as always by Silvius. How you doing, buddy?
Good, man. How's your, how are you doing?
Doing okay. Doing well, actually. Excited to dive into this, take a look at distribution centers. For anyone who is new here to the channel, this is where we react to video content that Cloud Imperium Games publishes on their Star Citizen YouTube channel. Primarily inside Star Citizen and sometimes Star Citizen Live. With today's episode, we have Inside Star Citizen Distribution Allocution. I think I said that right.
Sounds right. I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into it.
At CitizenCon 2952, we introduced the concept of distribution centers. These enormous terrestrial microcosms of Star Citizen's entire FPS experience. And since that time, we've intermittently followed along with their progress as they make their way to the persistent universe in the upcoming Alpha 323. And with that milestone approaching in just the next few months, let's dive underground one more time and see where they're at now, and discuss a little more about what you'll be doing once you get inside.
Still love that set so much.
Yeah.
What are distribution centers?
It's a super basic question. But I've got to unravel about 2 years worth of development time in order to answer it.
So a distribution center is a colossal hub that an organization owns that they distribute goods for, and this could be commodities
2
themselves
years.
or stuff that they're making.
They're very big locations on the
I didn't
ground.
realize that it had been going
They're a
on
hive
that long.
of activity. But you can also go there and cause some chaos as well.
To the
They look
player,
really cool.
depending on what faction it is, it's still going to be a means to way of getting different types of missions.
We don't want you to go to this location and be the only person there doing a thing. In some locations, you're going to find that you're just doing a delivery mission, you're hauling some cargo out there, you're dropping it off, and you're getting your fee for doing that. But while that's happening, another player could be infiltrating it, they could be assassinating a VIP in there.
They provide a large variety of gameplay, anything to bombing runs, first-person combat, theft, you name it.
A whole quagmire of different things going on at any one time.
Basically a microcosm for all the FPS-related gameplay in the universe.
What's your favorite thing about the distribution centers?
They're nearly done.
This poor guy. Okay, so I love this about distribution centers, though. This idea that it's going to be this big convergence of multiple types of players all coming to the same location. I'm sure it's going to create some chaotic times, right? But, part of playing Star Citizen is that it's an online environment and you want to interact with other people, or at least sometimes you want to interact with other people, right? And currently, yeah, you can do that at landing zones and you can do that at space stations. And if you happen to bump into somebody at the same bunker, that happens from time to time. But by and large, when you're out and about and on adventures, you're not running into people super often, especially on foot, right? And it sounds like this is going to change that.
Yeah, because right now, like, you take a mission for somewhere and nobody else will get a mission for there while you have one active for it.
Mhm.
But it seems like this one's going to send multiple people to the same place for multiple different types of missions. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, you could have an assassination contract, and I could have some cargo hauling contract, and both have to be there to do our own completely separate sort of gameplay styles. Like, this is exciting to me. The Picos.
The
So at
trolleys,
CitizenCon, we showed you
it's the only use they have.
what is going on at these locations. But you want to know what's actually coming in 3.23, so let me tell you. We're going to have multiple DCs throughout the Stanton system. Each one of those is going to be owned by different brands. Some of them are going to be friendly towards you. Some of them they're going to be hostile towards you. At each location, you're going to have access to both sides of the building, both wings. On those wings, we have 2 landing pads and a hangar, and 2 cargo freight elevators. Plus you've got the wing itself, so all the missions that you can do outside. On the inside, you'll have access to the lobby and the rooms off that, so sleeping habs, a kitchenette, some VIP spaces, and some maintenance places in there as well, all with missions.
Below that, you're into the main body of it, which has got the
engineering.
central part, which is the warehouse, which is where mainly all the goods go. Branching off of that leads into 2 side roads. From there can be a mixture of rooms. It's always a cargo shop, which is a part delivery space, part canteen for the staff to use for refreshment and taking a break.
Can't wait to see a bunch of
Storage
NPCs
rooms, which are
standing
the
on those
main
tables.
whole of distributing big cargo boxes, which have to be used to be picked up via a tractor beam.
There are worker rest areas, there are security areas, side rooms.
And a side road, which is
That's cool.
more like a little maintenance area.
Driving
It
a
does have an
vehicle inside?
underfloor, again with the ventilation access. That's on the inside. Branching out from that as well, there are 2 wings. Each one comes equipped with a cargo area, a shipping depot, and security door from the outside.
Hopefully enough content for you to get your teeth into in this kind of initial release.
Can you bring vehicles inside?
To the outside wings, yes, but you can't drive them into the actual centre, no.
No.
Sounds really confident about it. Why can't you take vehicles inside?
Because we block them off.
How'd you block them?
All odds.
Vehicle force field?
All odds.
You're telling me there's no way a player is going to be able to tractor beam a vehicle over those ballers and get a vehicle inside?
I would like to say no.
They know. They know what's going to happen.
Backers, you know better. The challenge is made. Get the vehicles in there.
The double fingers.
So what will bring players to the distribution centres will depend on the type of player, as we want to give variety, depending if you're an aggressive player or a non-aggressive player and or lawful or unlawful. It's for the 4 types of player that exist in the persistent universe. So there's aggressive lawful, unaggressive lawful, aggressive unlawful, and unaggressive unlawful.
Yeah, that's
Which
pretty
one are
much
you?
it.
I quite like being aggressive. If you're going to go in, you might as well go in hard, right? I'm nice in real life, so I can be aggressive and unlawful in the verse.
Guess I'm usually
For
aggressive lawful.
players, you might get
Yeah.
a mission where you have to go in and defend one of the distribution centres from a hostile attack by outlaw gangs.
You could receive a distress call from the owner of the distribution centre being informed that a gang is trying to acquire goods from a certain section of it, say the storage room.
The player will arrive. They will make their way to the location which is under attack. They will go in, they will see a battle underway between defending forces and the attackers, and they will join sides with the defending forces to take out the attackers. Those attackers might come in waves, they might have big heavies with them, they might have bigger weaponry, but you will join together, possibly with friends, to take out this big assaulting force.
Sounds really fun.
Lawful non-aggressive players
Imagine
might
all
want
the
to do
desync.
something more like
Imagine.
delivery or hauling. It's a distribution center. So you'll be able to come in, land, load your ship with all the various cargo, depending on what kind of distribution center it is, and take it where it needs to go, whether that's another distribution center or somewhere else completely different.
The plan from doing an internal delivery will be using a hover trolley to distribute one cargo or multiple cargo boxes from one section
Are we
of the
getting
distribution
those?
centre to another. They really are big enough to do an entire
question.
mission without ever leaving. You could be doing a delivery from one room, let's say the storage room, up to the lobby.
For
sounds like
an
it.
aggressive illegal player, you might do an all-out assault on the distribution center. You can fly in, the location security will kick in, so you'll be trespassing, you'll get shot at by turrets. If you manage to land, you will infiltrate the facility. All guards will be hostile to you, and you can go in, you can, if it's an assassination mission, you can go in, take out a VIP. If it's a theft mission, you can run a heist, go in, rob the place, get out again.
Each distribution center, especially the bigger company ones, would have armed guards at least on site. They'd also have turrets mobilized around the outside, so you would have to, coming in by air is very dangerous because you would be distinctly seen as trespassing, so each security zone around a distribution center protects it, even from the air, not just the ground. So for non-aggressive, unlawful theft missions would be a prime example of you sneaking into distribution center to avoid being detected by security to acquire goods unlawfully.
You can basically do
great.
a stealth version of the hostile mission. So instead of it being an all-out assault and going in guns blazing, maybe you find a back route in. Maybe you sneak in past guards, make your way to the location without being detected. If you
When have we
get
done this in this
the
game
item
before?
that you need to steal, you can
Right.
turn around, make your way out, and hope they don't find you.
I love to see this.
For players that don't have
Love
a
to see
mission, the response that you get when you approach a distribution center is going to depend on which distribution center it is. Some are going to welcome visitors. They'll be quite happy to see you. Others definitely don't want any visitors at all.
So depending on the type of facility, some public ones, and you'll be able to come in and just use it as a social space. Other higher security level ones, you would not have or be granted access without being granted a mission. So besides missions, if a player decides to go like full chaotic evil inside a distribution center, they can go in full guns blazing, but they're going to be met with a lot of resistance. So you're going to need to see some pretty, like a heavily armored ship to deal with the anti-air guns and a lot of firepower when you get inside because there's a load of guards to deal with.
Shooting the receptionist.
But it sounds like it'll be a
So a big
whole
driving force
operation
behind the
to do that.
distribution
Yeah.
centers is to really bring players together in all different kinds of ways. So maybe you've got somebody there who's running a delivery mission, and at the same time, you've got a group of people coming in to raid the place and steal a bunch of stuff. They all get caught up together in a whole big mess, and the hope is that it's a fun, exciting, and probably quite chaotic experience.
We want it so that as you're playing it through, yeah, other things are happening around you, things that you sort of want to get involved in yourself.
I hope the players perceive it as mainly for the variety, to give the players the choice to like just to lean into, do they want to be aggressive or do they want to be passive? That we know different players like playing different ways, so we're hoping this variety in the distribution center gives the players the access whether they want to play that aggressive or passive fantasy inside the verse.
Of course, this is the first drop of the distribution centers, and development will be ongoing. We're shooting for a healthy variety of distribution centers for 3.23, and more to come as we approach 4.0.
So at some point after 3.23 and into the future, I don't know when, we are going to be looking at the end game stuff that you want to play, and that's going to be in the form of raids. Raids! Don't put that in.
Oh, we're definitely leaving that in.
So, what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that distribution centers will be home to missions and gameplay of every sort, that Alpha 3.23 will mark their arrival, that the much anticipated raid gameplay first discussed at CitizenCon will follow at some point thereafter, and that if you're the ISC gameplay capture team working in builds weeks and sometimes even months before Evocati, you may find that the planets of Pyro and Stanton have loaded into the same physical space and turned themselves inside out, and all you're trying to do is make your weekly show. Don't worry, they're having the time of their lives. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the process of game development with you, and we'll see you all here next week. Like that.
Sounds like somebody's having some fun with server meshing.
Yeah, that sounds awful. All in
Yeah.
the same area?
Now I've had the time of my life,
God.
though I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear It's the truth, and I owe it all to you, Booch.
Jared can sing.
Yeah, didn't realize Disco had such a lovely singing voice.
Yeah. Yeah. Had some soul to it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Distribution centers. I feel like even with, what we found out at CitizenCon, and I think maybe part of it is just because CitizenCon was a barrage of information. But now having watched ISC, I feel like going into this was underestimating kind of how big of a deal distribution centers, easy for me to say, really are going to be. Like, it's a massive content drop.
Yeah, I wonder how many we're actually going to get. I'm expecting maybe 4 or 5. At least one per planet.
Yeah, I could definitely Microtech, right? Probably Hurston, maybe 1 or 2 on a moon here or there, for sure. But yeah, I could see them dropping maybe 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, that
5.
I couldn't tell in that little section where they were showing different shots of them. They showed at least, I think, 3 different ones there. There was looked like 2 on Hurston, and the one on Microtech, I couldn't tell if it was the same one or not. But
right.
Yeah, so they showed at least 3 or 4 different ones. But I feel like they're at least going to have 4 for all the different types of gameplay they mentioned. And then I guess some of those will overlap. But yeah, I'm interested to see how many they have and how long it takes. I was surprised to see how much content they're going to have after they said there's not going to be the underground areas yet.
Right.
So I was like, oh, it's just kind of going to be a location and you can kind of go there and check it out, but not really anything to do. So yeah, I'm glad they're adding all these missions and everything to it.
Yeah, it sounds like there's going to be plenty to do even without the underground parts. And hopefully it won't take them, too much longer after the initial release before we get those underground parts. Like, I don't think it's going to be the next month or anything, but hopefully within the calendar year would be cool to see these things fully come together in the game. Yeah,
and I like the idea of having places where multiple people are going to be going to do these missions, but I think a lot of people in the community are concerned about griefing and how that's going to work with the sinners and everything. We can get into it more on our podcast and stuff, but yeah, I've seen a couple people mention that's a decent concern.
Yeah, that's and part of the general ongoing PvP concern in Star Citizen.
Yeah,
it seems to be an extension of that. But yeah, we'll talk about that on the podcast. This ISC in particular, though, man, this is the kind of stuff that I like to see from their YouTube. Like, Jared, if you happen to be listening, I love this. This is both show and tell, right? They had the devs on, they were talking about the content that they've been working on, and they were showing us too. Like, that showing is super important to me at this point. Like, if it's a feature that they know is way far away, yeah, you can verbally mention it and bring it up in a article or whatever. But when it's something coming to 323 and we're this close to it, don't get me wrong, we're probably still 2-3 months away from it hitting live, but relatively speaking, we're on the road to 323. And if we're gonna go through this laundry list of features, show us. And I've not been super happy with all of their YouTube content this year, but this one was a banger. More like these, please.
Yeah, I hope they continue with stuff like this for the rest of the 323 content. So
yeah, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's it. For those of you interested, we have other reaction videos on the channel for Star Citizen and Squadron 42. Silvius mentioned just earlier that we also do a podcast. That can also be found on the YouTube channel and Spotify. And we also have a series called the CommLink Alert. So when CIG put out major articles like a monthly report onto their website, it's essentially an audiobook version of that where, I just read the article. And you can listen to it if you would like to. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Thank you so much. We're on Instagram and Twitter as well. What's our handle over there, Silvius?
At CommLink Pod.
At CommLink Pod, baby. So go ahead and give us a follow. We're running a Rambler with LTI giveaway over on the Twitter page as well. Details on that is pinned at the top of our profile at CommLink Pod. And I think that's it, man. We've got a podcast to record. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
See you next time.